Hi, and that was a song No Longer Slaves by Jonathan David and Melissa Helser. And welcome once again to me, Jennifer Valentine-Miller, on another edition of the Jennifer Valentine-Miller Show on PRZ 109.2 FM. It's been little over a year since I had a radio talk show with this morning's guest, Pauline Valentine, who is a committee outreach worker for Romford Ealing Church. And it was back in May 2020 when we both touched on the Black Lives Matter movement, racism, injustice, and also the topic that was trending at the time, which was prayer. 1 year on, these topics are still trending, except mental health being has seemed to have leapfrogged the topic on prayer. And the Health Service Journal warns that mental health demands could double. Hence why there is a need for mental health clinics for emotional needs. Today's show is dedicated to supporting those with emotional needs. I'm glad to announce that Pauline has headed up a similar initiative or clinic. Good morning, Pauline.
Good morning.
Am I right in saying that you are heading up something similar?
Yes, we've called it a surgery.
Yeah, okay, yes. So can you explain why we're now seeing emotional well-being to be so high on everyone's agenda?
Well, first of all, I think there's always been some sensitivity around people's emotional well-being, mental health in society, but it has been gently swept under the carpet. And at times we understand that mental health can be quite difficult to detect. But the pandemic simply placed a floodlight around all this sensitivity. And as we now know, this has also included children and young adults struggling with mental health. So, just a suggestion, maybe could we not only teach children or students of all ages how to not only look after their physical health, but also include how to look after their mental well-being.
Yes.
However, in saying that, we must applaud and welcome all the new initiatives which have surfaced in support of all those suffering in the area of mental health. Now, Jennifer, just to give a few statistics, and due to time, in London alone, 2019, the UK workforce was becoming increasingly held back by mental health problems, such as stress, depression, and anxiety. And even if we look at research in the UK, more than 1 in 10, that's 13% UK employees are unhappy at work. And that accounts for more than 4.3 million people in the United Kingdom.
Hello.
Yeah, now that was before the pandemic.
Goodness.
Now, when we look at children and young people between the age of 5 and 19, 1 in 10 are also affected. That's approximately 70%. That's alarming figures.
Oh, very, very much. So how was your well-being surgery birthed?
It was one day through prayer. And it was way before the pandemic, which is so like God, always ahead of time. But yes, it was while I was in prayer for my local community, and I was simply asking God about the needs in the community. What needs are there that we can try and meet as a church? And he mentioned mental health. So after that, the first thing I thought of was, I need a team. And and who should be in that team? And the first thing that came to mind, they need to be experienced individuals in that field. That kept on homing in all the time, including experienced counsellors. And to be honest, I thought, where would I find these people? But God being God, gave me two names, and that was kind of the starting of everything.
Wow.
And to cut a long story short, both these people, after speaking to them, had nearly 40 years experience between them in the field. And as you could imagine, I was very excited, and the rest is history. We now have a team of 8 strong that support the surgery.
It's fantastic. I mean, I know that you call them team members, but I think they're
Mm,
practitioners now. I mean, are
yes.
they accountable to any one person or denomination? Does that play a part in it? Denomination?
Yes, they're all experienced in the field, and we all come under the banner of Romford Elim. Even though I oversee the surgery, we still come under the management of the church, the eldership. So yes, it's everything. We're all accountable to the managerial team of the church.
I know that you've mentioned it or touched on it earlier, but who is the surgery for?
The surgery's for everyone and anyone. Faith, creed, colour, anybody's welcome. It's simply about the needs of others, about restoring and bringing restoration. And that's the name of the surgery, by the way, restoration
Ah,
surgery.
yeah. So, what methods of approach can anyone expect to experience and use? What will be used to support anyone wishing to use a surgery? What methods of support?
Our approach is to mainly listen, and that is key in understanding the true needs of people who are struggling in this area. Because in most cases, people that struggle with this type of illness, if that's the word we can use, if you trace back, they're not listened to. We are not hearing their needs. And at times, in most cases, it's too late when we find out there is a problem. Now, just to bring in some more statistics again, there were 5,691 suicides in England and Wales in 2019. And that is 321 more compared to the year before.
Wow.
Now, the suicide rate has remained the same as in 2018, and that's 11 deaths per 1,000 people. And that's way too much.
Is it really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Now, as I said, the surgery is based in Romford Elim Church, and yes, there is a qualified team, and they will signpost to the relevant organisations depending on the condition, give voluntary advice such as how to register with a local GP, and maybe about any other additional support available in the community. Now, there's also another vital service we provide, and that is prayer. And that's because we are a Christian based surgery. And just as Jesus Christ went about doing good and prayed and healed those who are afflicted, so based on that, prayer will be available if people require that.
You've given us the name of your surgery. So when do you intend to launch a surgery? And you see this as an important matter. And when will sessions still remain online?
Mm. Yeah, the service is already set up and running. We were running during the pandemic, and we did have some visitors use the service. But of course, the COVID restriction had forced us to support anyone wishing to use the service to do so online.
Yeah.
However, once the restrictions have been lifted, there will still will still be online, but there'll be an option to support face to face at the surgery, based at Romford Elim Church.
Yeah.
As mentioned, um, people can contact via telephone or email, or they can surf the website, which I have. Would you like me to give some of that details
Of
out?
course, Pauline, feel
Oh,
free. Yes, thank you.
okay. So the telephone number, if people do have pen and paper, it's 01708 767 029. And there's also an email address, and that's admin@romfordealingchurch.co.uk. And there is a website if people would like to browse to see what other services are available to the community. It's www.romfordealingchurch.co.uk.
That was great, thank you. And finally, I'm always amazed by the way that you and many other leaders have managed during the pandemic. Do you feel that re-engagement is the biggest obstacle in terms of re-engagement members back into the community, back into church life, that is, as a biggest obstacle now?
I think re-engagement back into everything, really. I mean, it's been 16 months. Approximately, I think we've been kind of shut behind doors and blinds and behind drawn curtains. So I think everyone may, take time. Some may even struggle to re-engage back into life, much less church. But time will tell. But yes, there may be challenges, it's expected, due to the 16 months of isolation. But we need to give people time to adjust. That's what I feel. But in saying that, the most beautiful aspect about God's church is that He's the one we should be going to when building it.
Yeah.
So any challenges we face, we give to Him. So as far as I'm concerned, the church is in perfectly good hands, and there's no need to worry.
That's great. Now, before I let you go, can I ask you just to once again just repeat the Wellbeing surgery details? And for those who've just joined in, I'm just
Yes, of
welcoming
course.
Valentine-Miller, who's doing a great job by just sort of running a wellbeing surgery. So we're just going to have the details once again. Thank you, Pauline.
Yes, so it's the restoration surgery based at Romford Ealing Church, and the contact telephone number is 01 708 767 029. Email admin@romfordealingchurch.co.uk. And if you like to browse the website, it's www.romfordealingchurch.co.uk.
Pauline, thank you, and have a good rest of the morning with your
Thank
feet up, I
you.
hope. Your feet up.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Okay,
Pleasure speaking to
thank you.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.